Hello, good evening. You're watching Team News Live, and as you can see, we're here at St Mary's Stadium, and tonight we return to Premier League action, and it's Crystal Palace that are the visitors to the South Coast this evening. Now we'll be bringing you the team news in just under 15 minutes time, so plenty of time for you to send us in your comments, tell us where you're watching from around the world, and also send in your score predictions as well. But before we bring you that team news, we'll also be joined by two Southampton legends. You absolutely don't want to miss it, so do make sure you stay tuned. Now, of course, the Saints will be looking to record their third consecutive Premier League victory this evening, with Ralph Hasenhüttl's regime well underway.
Puts an early cross in towards Ings, it's 1-0! First sniffer goal for Danny Ings. He got the wrong side of the defender. Good cross from that target towards the near post. Chips the ball in, it's a good chip, and the header goes in! And Danny Ings has floated one beyond Bert Leno. Terrific cross from Redmond. Leno's out of position if Long hits it early. Right hand edge of the box, he looks for Charlie Austin in the back stick, and Charlie Austin scores again against Arsenal! Redmond with a chance, and Redmond scores his first goal of the season! Comes forward, right-footed, 2-0 Southampton before half-time. Right wing, pulls it back towards Obafemi. He's got time to shoot, and he's got time to score his first goal for Southampton. Now, chance for James Ward-Prowse. Smashes it inside the goal. He went the right way, Schmeichel, but Ward-Prowse has his first goal since February last year. And Shane Long shoots, and Shane Long scores! Ralph Hasenhüttl clenches his fists and celebrates. The Saints players are down on their haunches. A brilliant back-to-the-wall win in the second half here. Dinks one towards the Everton penalty area. Strong header from Kurt Zouma, but Ward-Prowse is first for the second ball. He's got a man to his right, but he shoots and scores a great goal! James Ward-Prowse scores in successive league games. Ward-Prowse finds the pass they need, and Ings finds it to Redmond. Redmond trying to go through on goal, and the back pass goes in!
Well, lots of you sending us in your thoughts already ahead of tonight's Premier League clash against Crystal Palace. Lots of comments coming through. Mark Jones has said, "Come on, you Reds." Craig Ince has commented saying, "Come on, Saints, let's bag some points this evening." "Come on, you Reds" from Alan in Basingstoke. Hello to you, Alan. Stephen Godfrey has said 3-1 to Saints would be lovely. Dawn has said, "On our way to the game." Well, we'll see you very shortly, Dawn. And Sean White has said, "Listening from Devon, come on, you Reds." A big thank you to everybody who's commented already, but you can send those comments in to us. We've got 25 minutes to go until we bring you that team news, so plenty of time to tell us your thoughts ahead of the lineup announcement. Now, of course, Saints have been in fine form recently, and of course after a short break to recharge their batteries, they were back in action, of course, last weekend, where they recorded the victory against Everton, and they'll be looking to do something similar again here this evening.
15 minutes gone, corner of the Saints on the left, whipped in, flicked on the near post, and a great save by Pickford. And they try and put Redmond through, he's in behind Keane here, Redmond in the box on the left, shoots just wide! Keane couldn't catch him, but he couldn't force the save out of Pickford. To Ings has gone past one player, Ings in the box still, Ings, it's almost an own goal, it hits the post! How lucky are Everton! Strong header from Kurt Zouma, but Ward-Prowse, he's first in the second ball. He's got a man to his right, but he shoots and scores a great goal! James Ward-Prowse scores in successive league games! Ward-Prowse finds the pass they need, and Ings finds it to Redmond. Redmond trying to go through on goal, and the back pass goes in! I think that's an own goal from Lucas Digne. He's rushed into the back of Redmond to try and tackle him as Redmond's going through on goal. And as Digne's made the tackle and connected, I think he shinned it at pace past his own goalkeeper. It's helped away by Ward-Prowse, the volley from Sigurdsson falls into the D kindly for Zouma, and then Sigurdsson with a place shot, and he gets Everton back into the game. He scores here for the second year in succession, and that is it. Southampton have a second home league win of the season.
Well, team news now just over 23 minutes away, so do make sure you're sending us in your comments. Lots of you watching from all over the globe this evening. Joining us all the way from Disney World in Florida is Chris Brown. A massive hello to you, Chris. Lorraine Evans is also joining us. She says, good luck, guys. Have a fantastic game. Here's praying for 3 points. We also have a comment here from Dean Thomas. He says, come on, Ralph Hampton. And Raymond Phillip has also commented. He said, come on Saints, 3-1 home win. Well, of course, Crystal Palace are the opponents this evening, and it was Palace that we recorded our first win of this season against back in September. And it was Danny Ings and Pierre Højbjerg that were in the goals to get the Saints season up and running.
Højbjerg has a drive, and I think Hennessy touched that over the crossbar. Lifted forward by Cedric, he's bounced a couple of times and they might nick in here. Danny Ings scores! Taking onto his left foot, McCarthy comes, parries it with his legs, saves brilliantly. Still pressure on, deflected, needs clearing. Martin has given the penalty to Southampton. Right-footed, and he's saved! Ings has done brilliantly, finds Redmond in the box, half volley, and it comes off the keeper and it hits the crossbar. On the rebound, back up, and Moy Elyounoussi was close to his first goal for the club. Benteke had to score! How did he not? Again. McCarthy's made the save! Who plays a really good ball out for Target, and Target feeds Højbjerg. Højbjerg's in behind the defender. The goalie's backtracking, and Højbjerg gets his first Premier League goal to give Southampton victory at Selhurst Park and a first victory of the season.
Well, a very good evening to those of you who have just joined us here on Team News Live. We can tell lots of you are in the match day spirit and everyone is sending us in their very positive comments. And we've got lots more here. Big thank you to everybody who's sending in their thoughts this evening. Brian Carty has said, massive game tonight, 3 points please. Lynn has said, watching all the way from Spain. John's commented, watching on the middle of a summer thunderstorm in Melbourne. Sharon sent us in her thoughts and said, loving the new confidence in the team, from Sharon and Chris in Plymouth. And finally, we've got a comment here from Liam. He said, watching from Madrid, come on you Reds. Well, as always, we love to hear from you, the fans at home, and you've still got plenty of time to send us in your thoughts. So please do keep those comments in on Facebook Live, YouTube and Periscope as well. But for now, it's time to hear from Southampton first team manager Ralph Hasenhüttl as he gives us the lowdown on his team ahead of tonight's game.
Ralph, last 2 Premier League wins have resulted in victories and you've taken 7 points from the last possible 9 as well. How much confidence do you have going into Crystal Palace on Wednesday, and also what I guess is another big kind of run of matches for you in the next 10, 11 days or so?
Yeah, you often speak about the 6-point games against these opponents. We take 2 important wins in Leicester and against Everton at home. So we do everything to take maybe a 3rd league win in a row. Could help us a lot against a very good team, I have to say. They have shown the last weeks that they can also play very good games against good teams and good balanced team with a very stable defense and good quality for transition forward in the offense with Zaha, and I think they are really a very strong opponent, but I think we also showed that we are getting better and better, and it would be a tough game.
You've had a little bit of extra time, if you like, to prepare the players for this one, since 10 days or so since the last game. How valuable has that been from your point of view to have that extra time on the training ground with them?
I think it was a long preparing time now, a strange week, because on Saturday, Sunday was no game, so it was new. But I think we spent the time in a good way, working very hard. We have had very good training sessions, and I think the guys showed that the willingness to learn and the willingness to work hard, you could feel in every session. So we had a good week, but it's only trainings week, so now we have to show on Wednesday that we are good prepared, and that the guys see that we are right prepared, so in the right way.
Without giving too much away to Crystal Palace, was there anything in particular that you've really been working on, and any key messages, I guess, that you've been delivering to the guys over the last couple of days here at Staplewood?
I think we worked in all our periods of our game, winning the ball, transition after losing the ball, playing with the ball. So in every part, also set pieces was an important part of our week, and we have still 1 session tomorrow to go, and then on Wednesday evening we have to show that we have the quality to win this game.
I haven't had a chance to ask you much about Jan Bednarek recently. He's somebody you've shown a lot of faith in, and he's repaid you with a series of impressive performances at the back. How pleased have you been with what he's brought, and what has it been about him that you've kind of seen in him? Because obviously before you came in, he was struggling to find game time.
I think he's not the only guy who was struggling to find a way in the game or in the first starting 11. So I think he showed from the first day on that he can be this part of centre back who helps you to have a clean sheet, or to do everything that the opponent doesn't score. So very aggressive in the one-on-one duels in the back, and also with the ball, with calm and a good view for the surrounded players, and also loud, good tactical advices for the other players, and I think a very good package as a centre back. So I think he made a very big step forward in his development, and it's typical for the development of the team.
Just finally, how are you looking in terms of injuries for this game and the guys who've been out recently like Ryan and Mario, and how they're progressing with their issues?
Yeah, Ryan is still in hard training sessions, part of it. Mario, it's a pity he's not. Still problems with his stomach. Matt Target, his knee injury is wasn't that worse that we thought in the beginning, so he could train since Saturday, so it looks good that he can play on Wednesday. Other few things like Chess Austin, swollen ankle, can be a problem for Wednesday, and Kane Ramsey was a little bit ill today, but I think also that he can train tomorrow. Yeah, and I think that's it.
Well, it's now under 15 minutes time until we bring you that all-important team news. Lots of speculation going on in the comments as to who you'd like to see in the lineup, and loads of you commenting from lots of lovely places around the globe as well. We've got Christopher Kennedy here, who's watching all the way from Louisiana, and he says, "Come on you Saints, hashtag in Ralph we trust." Another comment here from Andrew Keane, and he's watching in Ireland. Ian's joining us from Jersey. Hello to you, Ian. Peter Brooks has commented saying, "Come on you Reds, Belgian Saints Supporters Club." Reese Scarf has said Ralph Army, and we have a comment here from Glenn who said, "Come on Saints, we can do this." Well, it's fantastic to have all of you commenting below, and you've still got lots of time to do so before we bring you that team news, so please do keep those comments coming in. Now, it's been a big season for some of our academy players so far, with the likes of Kane Ramsey, Callum Slattery and Jan Valery all being given the chance to shine in recent weeks. So we caught up with Academy manager Matt Hale to hear of his pride on some of the boys' performances.
Matt, let's start by talking about the fantastic progression that we're seeing at the moment in terms of academy graduates, training, playing with the first team, and just sort of generally being in around that first team picture. How much pride does that fill you with?
Yeah, well, not just me personally, but all of the staff that have been involved in these young players' development since they've been at the club. It's been great to see the likes of Callum Slattery and Tyreek Johnson, Kane Ramsey, Jan, Michael Obafemi, obviously, from last season, carrying on that and getting those opportunities in the first team. So it's great to see, and yeah, everybody's very proud.
And those youngsters that you've overseen, I suppose, from a very young age, making debuts, how rewarding is that to see that process from sort of start to end? Yeah,
again, with somebody like Callum, who's been with us for a very long time, it's great to see. He's been with us probably 10, 12 years, and to see him come through that long-term pathway is great, again, for everybody, from the recruitment team who first brought him to the club, the sports science department that have worked with him, and obviously the coaching team who have put those finishing touches on top with his ability and his hard work. And of course, with all of these lads, they've worked extremely hard to get the opportunities that they've been given.
And we've had as many as 8, I think I'm right in saying, Southampton Academy alumni in a matchday squad at one time this season. The manager really seems to value the talent that we're producing here.
Yeah, and again, we have that strap line of trying to get a first team squad of 50% of academy graduates, and we're working hard towards that, and having that many young players certainly helps. But again, it's not just a statement, it's a belief that we've got that we can absolutely nurture those young players to get to that level of performance. So it's a great number. Again, it's one we're very proud of, and the productivity keeps going here. So it's a pleasing time and great to see.
And just how important is it as well that the manager and his coaching staff buy into that philosophy that we've got here at the club?
No, it's important, that synergy and that communication daily between our predominantly 23 staff, professional phase staff at under 18, with the manager and his team, and it's great with the likes of Kelvin and Craig around that first team environment who've worked with these young players and know what they can do. So that synergy and that closeness that we've got is vital, and that happens every day. So that's an important part of how the whole thing works.
And that mantra you've just mentioned that we have at this football club of breeding and nurturing young talent, at some clubs that might be a little bit idealistic, but that really does ring true here, doesn't it?
Yeah, again, I've talked about it many times, the belief from the board and their view on the type of manager that we need to again give those young players the chance is very important. So you've got that support from the board and the ownership group. Again, you've got that synergy between the first team manager and the senior staff in the professional phase, and the hard work of the young players, and you pull that together, and it's what we've always been about at Southampton for many years. And again, more recently, it's been great to see.
Hello, welcome to Team News Night Live. If you have just joined us here, you can see the countdown to kick off behind me. Just over an hour to go now until our Premier League clash against Crystal Palace, and under 10 minutes to go now until we bring you the all-important team news. Lots of speculation going on in the comments section as to who you'd like to see in Ralph Hasenhüttl's starting 11. Please do keep those comments coming in. But for now, it's time to hear from Pierre Højbjerg ahead of tonight's clash.
I think the next 3 games are direct opponents. Of course, we take one game at a time, one day at a time, and we're working well. We're working together in the same direction, and we're taking on the manager's feedback, the manager's instructions, and I think right now we're trying to build something big. We know there's still a way to go, but we also know that we're in the right direction with the results we've had, but also with the performances. So it's assuring that what we do is good. No, we try to take one game at a time, and we try to go in to every game with a belief that we can get something today, and the same we do against almost any opponent, I would say. So again, it's about creating the good, what do you say, the good environment, the good to create the good balance in everything we do. And again, right now we're working well, we're doing well with each other, and working in the same direction. That as a team, but also as an individual, I think it's the best you can do, is everybody in the same direction, because you're stronger, you're automatically stronger when you go into something as a group in a big number. And it's again, it can be, but we know that what we're doing is good, but we're still not there. We still have a way to go. We still want to do more. We still have to do more to survive in the Premier League. And that is, of course, the goal number 1, to stay in the Premier League for the next season, and become a better team, become better players, and try to still always build. Yeah, of course, when the manager puts a board up with some tactical advice, I think it's a good idea to look at it. So no. Was some tactical instructions for the training, something we're working on. So it's good, and it's. I think it's a really good way of coaching and doing to tell the players, listen, we do things with a purpose, because then we also know when game day come, we got to do what we do in training, and just execute it, and it's good. Gives you trust, gives you confidence, but also gives you reliability in what you do. You know, everybody trusts each other, everybody's working on it, so the whole group is I think it's really positive. There's a positive energy, there's a positive mindset. We want to go forward, we want to win, we want to fight, we want to excite the crowd, excite the club. So I think everybody sense that we are in a good way, but we're still not there.
Well, I'm delighted to say that we are joined by two Southampton legends now on Team News Live. We've managed to prize him away from the Soccer Saturday studio. It's Matt Tissier and my dad, Benali. Thank you both for coming along.
Pleasure.
Let's turn our attention to tonight's game. Crystal Palace, of course, are the opponents. It's going to be a tough game. Both teams are in good form in the Premier League at the moment. What can we expect from tonight's game?
I think it'll be quite a tight game, actually. I'm expecting a tough one. I think they've got some very good players in wide areas, and I think they're the ones, if we can keep quiet tonight, that'll give us a really good chance of winning. But they are, Townsend as a whole, been playing very well, and two big threats to us.
Well, I think we're going to get the league table up now to take a look at. So if you guys want to have a look at this, 3 points, Dad, would do Saints the world of good tonight, wouldn't it?
Oh, it would. It would be fantastic. And I think, you know, if we took all 3 points tonight, which I certainly hope we will, that would be 10 from a possible 12. I think that we could have taken, which would be incredible, really, for you know, given where we were at the beginning of the season. So yeah, that would make a big difference to the table, wouldn't it? You know, jump us up to sort of 14th. You know, and that looks a lot healthier than when you sort of see the table looking like that. But there's teams picking up results in games that you don't expect at the moment. You know, you can pretty much write off Huddersfield, I would imagine, but you know, Cardiff and Fulham are pulling out results every now and again, and it's going to be a real roller coaster ride, I think, into the end of the season. But you know, with the way we've been playing and picking up results, I'm confident. Hopefully, with another good result tonight, we can start climbing the table. I think
the next few weeks are pretty pivotal. You know, with Burnley coming up after this game, you know, we've got Cardiff to play, got Fulham to play next month. That's a big few weeks. We could really put a lot of space between us and the bottom three if we get those results right.
And let's talk about the manager now then, Ralph Hasenhüttl. We've all seen the influence he's had on the side, and you know, I'm sure you've both met him now. What do you think he's actually come in and done? How do you think he's gone about it?
I think he's gone about it mainly organisation. I think of the team seems so much better. The players just seem like they've got more of a plan when they're going into games at the moment, and I think that's just the biggest. I think what he's also done very well, he's got the crowd here at St Mary's on side very early. You know, very slick move to buy them all a beer for the first game. You know, get everyone on board, and obviously it helped with the first home game. You know, taking 3 points of Arsenal here to give him a flying start here at St Mary's and to get everyone behind him, because for a couple of seasons the crowd at St Mary's here had been, you know, a little bit apathetic almost, and it was almost becoming a chore to come and watch the games, and you weren't kind of really looking forward to any great anticipation because we weren't scoring many goals, and there just wasn't that same drive and that same buzz that there was when Ronald and Rizzio were here.
What I like is what we've seen from him and from the team since he's been in charge is that he came with the promise of that high intensity, that high pressing game, and we've seen that, you know, with the work that he's done with the squad. You know, we're seeing the players closing from the front, whether that's Danny Ings or whoever's up front, Shane Long, Nathan Redmond on the wing. They're pressurising defenders, and you know, I can speak from experience when you're being put under pressure by the opposition that high up the pitch from the opposition strikers, it can be hard to play out at times, and when it makes it easier for the defenders behind them when you got the entire side doing that.
Well, Dad, I'm going to have to stop you there because we are going to bring you your team news very, very shortly. Matt and Dad will still be with us in the studio to give us their thoughts and analysis on the way Ralph Hasenhüttl has lined up his men to take on Crystal Palace this evening. Well, the team news is in. You can see it just to my right here. So your Saints team in full is as follows. It's a 5-3-2 formation by the looks of things. In goal, Alex McCarthy. A back five, Jan Valery, Jan Bednarek, Jack Stevens, Yannick Vestergaard and Matt Targett. In the midfield, James Ward-Prowse, Oriol Romeu and Pierre Højbjerg, the captain. And the two strikers, Nathan Redmond and Danny Ings. The Southampton bench then, Angus Gunn, Shane Long, Mohamed Elyounoussi, Sam Gallagher, Stuart Armstrong, Callum Slattery and Kane Ramsey. So let's come to Dad, yourself first, on a direct response to that starting lineup to take on Crystal Palace.
Positive looking lineup, and I think Matt's just mentioned that it's the same lineup that beat Everton. So he's going with that side and trusting the players again, and we've seen him change a number of the players, bringing the youngsters in as well, which is great to see. You know, I'm intrigued as a supporter now to see what side he does put out for each game, because sometimes it can be quite predictable from some managers, but under Ralph it's sometimes tough to call, and it's a side that you look at and think, I'd be confident that could go and get a result this evening.
And Matt, Dad mentioned the youngsters there. Ralph is certainly not afraid to give young talent their start. Has there been any standout performers for you amongst the youngsters?
Obviously, Jan has come in at right back and kept Cedric out, and obviously we've seen Cedric now go out on loan with a view to a permanent at the end of the season. So he's obviously made a big impression. I think Kane Ramsey, in the short time that he was in the team, I thought did pretty well as well. I think the thing for me, as well as the youngsters, has been the upping of the levels of some of the players that were here already, that the manager just seems to have got a way better tune out of. You know, the last few games been so impressed with James Ward-Prowse. That's as good as I've seen him have a spell of a few games in a row since he's been at Southampton. I mean, it's quite a few years now, but he's really starting to show some real potential. And yes, you know, I'd like to see maybe a bit more of Sam Gallagher. I thought when Sam came on against Derby, I thought that was the best I'd seen Sam. You know, I've seen him in a Saints shirt on quite a few occasions. Obviously he did well when he went out on loan, but I thought he looked like he was capable of doing a job at this level in that Derby game.
Well, let's get your thoughts ahead of tonight's game then. Of course, we're searching for our third consecutive Premier League win this evening. Dad, what are you hoping for tonight?
Win, naturally. I think I agree with Matt. We said at the top of the programme that it'll be a close game. Palace, albeit they're very close to us in the table, they've got some players that can turn a game, and rightly, as Matt did put it, it's keeping those key players in the Palace lineup quiet this evening, while still playing our game. You know, not worrying too much about the opposition. And we've heard Ralph say he wants the supporters to get behind the team when things are going well, but also when things aren't necessarily going well, or the game's a little bit stale maybe, and just being a bit patient. So yeah, hopefully the supporters rock up this evening and create an atmosphere for the team to go on and win the game.
And Matt, a score prediction from yourself?
A score prediction, I'll go for a 2-0 victory.
We like the sound of that.
Clean sheet?
And speaking of goals, you've scored some pretty fantastic ones in your time, Matt. Unfortunately, can't say the same about you, Dad.
I knew you'd be looking at Matt when you said that, Ken, definitely.
We've actually got a goal here to show you that you scored against Crystal Palace. How much did you enjoy this one?
Yeah, this was a nice one. This on the volley, right-footed, nice little controlled volley into the bottom corner. Yeah, that was a long time ago now. Jeez. Yeah, I think that was pre-Premier League. That.
Dad, if only we were playing Leicester tonight.
Well, you know, we could churn the goal up again. You know, that tape's probably sort of well and truly buried somewhere.
And scored against Crystal Palace in the South East Counties League.
Well, true, man. But there's very few people that would remember those days. That was when I did score the odd goal or two.
Cameras at youth team games in those.
True.
Those days,
well, Matt, Dad, thank you so much for joining us. Fantastic to get your thoughts ahead of tonight's game, and I'm sure our viewers at home have loved having you on the show. But now we're going to hear from Yannick Vestergaard. Of course, he's been at the heart of our defence since joining the club in the summer, and we sat down with him in the week to hear his thoughts on his journey at Southampton so far.
I think from even before I can remember, I like to play with footballs, and I guess they had some toy figures on there, but my dad would like to throw balls on my head from when I was a very small kid, so I don't know, 2 or 3 years old. He would throw balls for me to head. I was begging my dad to allow me to play in the team when I was about 4.
And you've got 2 sisters as well, Anna and Marie. How close a family unit are you, and how much has that had an influence on your career?
We're very close, and I sometimes feel bad for them because they have been dragged to all my games and competitions and whatnot in their childhood. But according to them, they've quite enjoyed it too, and it has, in my opinion, brought us closely together. And to be honest, I only had football on my mind, and music wasn't that big of an interest for me, and I quite regret it now. I would love to play an instrument or be able to sing like my sisters are. My parents both classical musicians. I listen to that just as well as I listen to pop and rock.
We spoke about, in terms of you growing up, it was Copenhagen. You joined Brøndby initially and then moved over to Germany at 17. Yeah. How difficult a move was that? Because, like you say, you're so close to your family, and how much did it help you mature quite quickly?
I mean, it was tough leaving girlfriend, friends, family at the age of 17 and being on my own. I'd been living a very protective life before that. I went from a youth dressing room in Denmark to a senior. No, not a senior. You don't say senior over here. To a pro, to a first team, in the Bundesliga with a lot of big characters, big egos, and that was quite a challenge to begin with, and it toughened me up. And in some ways, and in other ways, we're taken very good care of, and normal everyday stuff I'm not very good at because we get all the help we need. So yeah. In some ways it matured me, and in some ways I think my friends are further than me. I loved playing in Germany, and I loved every club I was a part of. I think they all had their own special feeling. Going to Werder Bremen and Mönchengladbach, which are very big teams also in the history of the Bundesliga. So I've had like a little bit of everything, and it's a great place to be, and I was very happy for the 8 years I was there, but at the end I thought it was time to try something new, and Premier League had always been a big dream of mine. Here you have a lot of smaller towns, and you have Southampton, and you have Southampton Football Club, and it really means a lot to the people, and it was the same at Werder Bremen, and I really enjoyed that. I think that makes our job, say it's not really a job, but it makes it a lot more fun knowing that it's that more important to people. The experience is quite different actually. In Germany, you will always have it's very often behind the goals, and you'd have the ultras, it's called, and like the very fanatic fans with their flags, and they sing for 90 minutes. But then you also often have like the rest of the stadium being quite calm and just enjoying to watch football and not really reacting on what happens. And I think in England, where you don't really have these stands where they only sing, but the whole stadium is reacting. I quite like that. It gets very intense when the games are tight, and whole stadium could stand up if there's a counter attack, and you can just, I think it's very nice to play in, and it has really helped us in the home games.
Under an hour to go now until kick-off gets underway here at St Mary's Stadium, and we return to Premier League action as we take on Crystal Palace. If you have just joined us, you can see the Saints lineup in full just here. We will go through the teams once more time for you though. I have the Crystal Palace starting 11 with me now, and the Crystal Palace lineup is as follows. Gaeta, Wan-Bissaka, Tompkins, Sacco, Van Aanholt, Milivojevic, Koyate, MacArthur, Townsend, Zaha and Ayew. So that is how Crystal Palace line up to take on the Saints. And the Southampton lineup is as follows. It's a 5-3-2 formation by the looks of things. In goal, Alex McCarthy. The back five, Jan Valery, Jan Bednarak, Jack Stevens, Yannick Vestergaard and Matt Targett make up the defence. In the midfield, James Ward-Prowse, Oriol Romeo and captain Pierre Højbjerg. And the attacking force, Nathan Redmond and Danny Ings. We have lots more comments coming in from you, the viewers at home. We've got a comment here from Chris Pardy. He says, super legends Matt and Franny. Obviously we had them on the show earlier on if you missed that. He also said, up the Saints. Neil said, watching from Jersey. Hello to you, Neil. Risa said, what a team, 3-5-2. Come on, you Reds. We've also got a comment from Martin and he said, Ward-Prowse and Ings, 2-0. Funnily enough, that was the same prediction as Matt Lettiz. He's going for a clean sheet as well. And we have a comment here from Shane. He says, love that Bednarak and Højbjerg play on the same game with lots of passion and desire. Well, that's all we've got time for here on T News Live. Remember, you can follow all the action of the game over at southamptonfc.com. Fantastic to have you join us throughout the evening, but it's almost time for kickoffs. As I said, make sure you get yourself over to the website for all the action from tonight's clash against Crystal Palace.